Paradise. Call to Prayers Adhaan. Bukhari. Book 1. Volume 11. Hadith 588. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. Allah's apostle said, whoever after listening to the Adhaan says, Alayuma Rabahad, he. Didawatit. Tamadi was Saladul Ka'imadi, Arima Hamada Nalwasalata Wal Fatalata, Wabathu Makiman Mamudin. Ilay Diwad Tahu Allah. Lord of this perfect call of not ascribing partners to you and of the regular prayer which is going to be established. Kindly give Muhammad the right of intercession and superiority, and send him on the day of judgment to the best and the highest place in paradise which you promised him. Then intercession for me will be permitted for him on the day of resurrection. Bukhari. Book 1. Volume 11. Hadith 631. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The Prophet said, Allah will prepare for him who goes to the mosque every morning and in the afternoon, for the congregational prayer an honorable place in paradise with good hospitality for what he has done. Every morning and afternoon goings. Bukhari. Book 1. Volume 12. Hadith 712. Narrated Asma bint Abi Bakr. The Prophet once offered the eclipse prayer. He stood for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing. He stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time. Then bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and prostrated a prolonged prostration. And then he stood up for a long time and then did a prolonged bowing and then stood up straight again and kept on standing for a long time. Then he bowed a long bowing and then stood up straight and then prostrated a prolonged prostration and then lifted his head and went for a prolonged prostration. On completion of the prayer, he said, Paradise became as near to me that if I had dared, I would have plucked one of its bunches for you, and hell became so near to me that said, O my Lord, will I be among those people? Then suddenly I saw a woman and a cat was lacerating her with its claws. On inquiring, it was said that the woman had imprisoned the cat till it died of starvation, and she neither fed it nor freed it so that it could feed itself. Bukhari. Book 1. Volume 12. Hadith 715. Narrated Abdullah bin Abbas. One solar eclipse occurred during the lifetime of Allah's apostle. He offered the eclipse prayer. His companions asked, O Allah's apostle, we saw you trying to take something while standing at your place, and then we saw you retreating. The Prophet said, I was shown paradise and wanted to have a bunch of fruit from it. Had I taken it, you would have eaten from it as long as the world remains. Bukhari. Book 1. Volume 12. Hadith 716. Narrated Anas bin Malik. The Prophet led us in prayer and then went up to the pulpit and beckoned with both hands towards the Qibla of the mosque and then said, when I started leading you in prayer, I saw the display of paradise and hell on the wall of the mosque facing the Qibla. I never saw good and bad as I have seen today. He repeated the last statement thrice. Bukhari. Book 1. Volume 12. Hadith 770. Narrated Abu Hurairah. The people said, O Allah's apostle, shall we see our Lord on the day of resurrection? He replied, do you have any doubt in seeing the full moon on a clear not cloudy night? They replied, no, O Allah's apostle. He said, do you have any doubt in seeing the sun when there are no clouds? They replied in the negative. He said, you will see Allah your Lord in the same way. On the day of resurrection, people will be gathered and he will order the people to follow what they used to worship. So some of them will follow the sun, some will follow the moon, and some will follow other deities. And only this nation Muslims will be left with its hypocrites. Allah will come to them and say, I am your Lord. They will say, we shall stay in this place till our Lord comes to us, and when our Lord will come, we will recognize him. Then Allah will come to them again and say, I am your Lord. They will say, you are our Lord. Allah will call them. And the Sirat, a bridge, would be laid across hell, and I, Muhammad, shall be the first amongst the apostles to cross it with my followers. Nobody except the apostles will then be able to speak, and they will be saying then, O Allah, save us. O Allah, save us. There will be hooks like the thorns of Adhaan in hell. Have you seen the thorns of Adhaan? The people said, yes. He said, these hooks will be like the thorns of Adhaan, but nobody except Allah knows their greatness and size, and these will entangle the people according to their deeds. Some of them will fall and stay in hell forever. Others will receive punishment torn into small pieces and will get out of hell, till when Allah intends mercy on whomever he likes amongst the people of hell. He will order the angels to take out of hell those who worship none but him alone. The angels will take them out by recognizing them from the traces of prostrations, for Allah has forbidden the hellfire to eat away those traces. So they will come out of the fire. It will eat away from the whole of the human body except the marks of the prostrations. At that time they will come out of the fire as mere skeletons. The water of life will be poured on them, and as a result they will grow like the seeds growing on the bank of flowing water. Then when Allah had finished from the judgments amongst his creations, one man will be left between hell and paradise, and he will be the last man from the people of hell to enter paradise. He will be facing hell, and will say, O Allah, turn my face from the fire, as its wind has dried me and its steam has burnt me. Allah will ask him, will you ask for anything more in case this favor is granted to you? He will say, no, by your honor power. And he will give to his Lord Allah what he will of the pledges and the covenants. Allah will then turn his face from the fire. When he will face paradise and will see its charm, he will remain quiet as long as Allah will. He then will say, O my Lord, let me go to the gate of paradise. Allah will ask him, didn't you give pledges and make covenants to the effect that you would not ask for anything more than what you requested at first? He will say, O my Lord, do not make me the most wretched amongst your creatures. Allah will say, if this request is granted, will you then ask for anything else? He will say, no, by your power, I shall not ask for anything else. Then he will give to his Lord what he will of the pledges and the covenants. Allah will then let him go to the gate of paradise. On reaching then and seeing its life, charm, and pleasure, he will remain quiet as long as Allah wills, and then will say, O my Lord, let me enter paradise. Allah will say, may Allah be merciful unto you, O son of Adam. How treacherous you are! Haven't you made covenants and given pledges that you will not ask for anything more than what you have been given? He will say, O my Lord, do not make me the most wretched amongst your creatures. So Allah will laugh and allow him to enter paradise, and will ask him to request as much as he likes. He will do so till all his desires have been fulfilled. Then Allah will say, request more of such and such things. Allah will remind him, and when all his desires and wishes have been fulfilled, Allah will say, all this is granted to you and a similar amount besides. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri said to Abu Hurairah, Allah's apostle said, Allah said, that is for you and 10 times more like it. Abu Hurairah said, I do not remember from Allah's apostle except as saying, all this is granted to you and a similar amount besides. Abu Sa'id said, I heard him saying, that is for you and 10 times more the like of it.